Volusianus, also known as Publius Licinius Volusianus, was the 40th emperor of the Roman Empire, ruling from 251 to 253 AD. His reign was brief and occurred during a turbulent period known as the crisis of the 3rd century, which was characterized by political instability, military crises, and external invasions. Volusianus is most often remembered for being one of the many emperors who were either assassinated or overthrown within a short period due to the unstable nature of the Roman Empire at that time. Volusianus was likely born in the early 230s AD, although precise details about his birth are scarce. He belonged to the prominent Licinian family, which had risen to prominence during the reign of Emperor Gordian III, 238 to 244 AD. His father, Gaius Vibius Trebonianus Gallus, served as consul and later became emperor. Volusianus's rise to power was thus closely tied to his father's political and military career. In 251 AD, during the reign of Emperor Decius, a serious military crisis unfolded when the Roman Empire faced invasions by the Goths in the Balkans, combined with internal rebellion. Decius was at the height of his power, but had to contend with rising pressures on multiple fronts. The Roman Senate, alarmed by the growing instability, appointed Decius's son Herennius Etruscus as co-emperor. Soon after, Decius and Herennius led the Roman army to confront the Goths. However, in 251 AD, Emperor Decius and his son were killed in the Battle of Abritus, a disastrous defeat against the Goths. With their deaths, the Roman Empire faced a leadership vacuum. The Roman military, seeking a new emperor, declared Trebonianus Gallus, Volusianus's father, as the new emperor. Volusianus's rise to the imperial throne was thus a result of his father's election, and he was immediately named co-emperor with him. Volusianus's role was largely symbolic during the early months of his reign, and he was likely placed in a secondary position relative to his father. However, in the political climate of the time, military success and the ability to manage the empire's defense were the most important factors in maintaining imperial authority. Gallus and Volusianus faced significant challenges, especially in stabilizing the empire and addressing external threats. The Roman Empire had been weakened by the defeat at Abritus, and the Goths, along with other barbarian groups, were pressing at the borders. In addition, the internal turmoil created by factions within the army and the Senate added to the instability of their rule. Gallus and Volusianus's reign faced several significant challenges. First, they had to deal with the ongoing pressure from external enemies, especially the Goths. Following the defeat of Decius, the Goths had gained considerable power and continued their raids into Roman territory. Gallus attempted to negotiate with the Goths, offering a treaty that included paying them a large ransom in exchange for peace. This move, however, was seen as a sign of weakness by many Romans, and it drew significant criticism from both the military and the Senate. Internally, Gallus and Volusianus had to contend with growing dissatisfaction among the military. The army had long played a central role in determining imperial succession, and the legions were often disgruntled over issues such as pay, military defeats, and the treatment of soldiers. There were several attempts at rebellion during their reign, including an uprising in Egypt, but Gallus and Volusianus managed to suppress these challenges. Despite their efforts to stabilize the empire, Gallus and Volusianus's rule became increasingly unpopular. The crisis of the 3rd century had also led to inflation and economic problems, and the empire's infrastructure was under pressure from continued external threats. The social and political situation in Rome itself was becoming more fractured, with increasing unrest among the population. In 253 AD, the growing dissatisfaction with the imperial leadership culminated in the assassination of Gallus and Volusianus. The soldiers, unhappy with the state of the empire, declared their own leader, Aemilianus, as emperor in the Balkans. This coup was likely influenced by discontent with Gallus's leadership and his inability to resolve the military and economic crises. Gallus and Volusianus were murdered by their own soldiers. Volusianus's death came as a result of this military revolt, and it marked the end of his short and tumultuous reign. His father Gallus, who had been the senior emperor, was also killed. Aemilianus, the general who led the revolt, succeeded them and briefly ruled the empire. However, Aemilianus's reign was also short-lived, as he too was assassinated by his own soldiers, further underscoring the instability of the period. Volusianus's legacy is somewhat obscure, as his reign lasted only about 2 years and he left little tangible impact on the Roman Empire. However, his time as emperor is notable for highlighting the fragile nature of imperial authority during the crisis of the 3rd century. Like many emperors of this period, Volusianus was caught between the demands of military power, economic strain, and the challenge of maintaining order within the empire. The fact that he, like his father Gallus, was assassinated by his own troops is a clear reflection of the volatility of Roman political life at the time. In the broader context of Roman history, Volusianus's reign is often seen as part of the larger cycle of instability that plagued the empire during the 3rd century. This was a period marked by rapid changes in leadership, with emperors being overthrown, assassinated, or defeated in battle with alarming frequency. The empire's struggles during this time were emblematic of the deep internal and external challenges facing Rome. Volusianus's time as emperor was brief and marked by military and political instability. As co-emperor with his father, Trebonianus Gallus, he faced external threats from barbarian invasions, internal discontent, and the pressures of an empire in crisis. Ultimately, his reign was cut short by the dissatisfaction of the military, leading to his assassination in 253 AD. Though his legacy is not as well remembered as those of more famous emperors, Volusianus's brief reign serves as a reminder of the volatility of the Roman Empire during the crisis of the 3rd century.